Halloween is in the air. Hey guys, welcome to Morris Manor, and today we are checking out the behind the scenes unedited tour of Pantophobia X 2023. Let's get into it. So I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. Today it's going to be kind of difficult to be filming outside very much because it is extraordinarily windy. I had to get a full microphone set just so you could even hear me talk. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing I want to show you over here was, don't mind the fallen down skeleton. We had to set him down because, as I mentioned previously, it is exceptionally windy today, and I didn't want to risk him falling over and breaking on guests because he's kind of like right over here, which is right in the path of where the line is going to be. So if he falls, people die, and that's not ideal. Either way, over here we got this fun little clothesline scene, which I think is a lot of fun. Just a little something to add to the ambience. Just a little something like that, and the Pantophobia banner back there, just a little something to get people in the mood because they'll be waiting back here and they'll be passing stuff. We also got like bottles in this tree, just fun little stuff like that just to get people kind of in the mood. Trying to get a somewhat decent angle of this because I don't want to stand out in the middle of the street and there's kind of cars in the way. There's literally cars passing us as we speak. Oh wow, it's really windy today. But as you can see, most notably the new thing we've done is a full 2-story facade. We've already had some shingles blow off there, as you can see. Not ideal, of course, but it just happens. One thing I wanted to point out was I really love our sign this year. We have that bulb that's above the Pantophobia sign. But yeah, we have it like on a flicker setting, but not like the weird, I don't want to say weird because we do have some of them in there, but like the sphere ones where it's like the flicker pattern. It's like an actual sorting out box that I believe I got from Haunted Hills Productions, I think. But yeah, either way, it's really cool. We have like the rickety letters, the rusty buzzsaw, which is actually just made of wood. I always painted that, and I painted that myself, and did the stain to make it look like it was rusted. Got some permablood on there. All some cool stuff. Yeah, as far as like the top level goes, there's not a lot going on. We got the 2 windows, there's some sheets up there with the board over one of them just to make it look all old. We got another window over the side here. Got all these missing posters, most of them just my actual friends and family. A couple of them we got like Nora and Tyler over there. See that? Those are the reviewers that usually come to check us out. I wanted to have them up on the wall as well. Just fun little references for everything. We also bought a ton of flooring from a hardware store. Very expensive, but totally worth it to make it look like we had like a wooden deck situation going on. I brought my actual charcoal grill over here and put, I made a charred looking hand guy for there. Some scorch marks up above the grill, all fun stuff. And then of course we have the pumpkin with the X carved in it because of Pantophobia X. We have probably close to 150, maybe even $200 worth of pumpkins this year. We carved like 90% of them. You'll see those in a second. We have lantern over here. It's supposed to be on flicker. I haven't turned on the battery operated stuff yet, but they will be on, rest assured, in the unedited tour. We got all these bottles hanging up here. A little bird guy up there if you hadn't seen him yet. And obviously, the whole porch, which is crazy for us. We don't usually do a facade to any of this extent, but this year we decided we really wanted to go all out on everything, and it's all covered. These are just like 2x4 planks holding up like, let's say 4x8 foot plywood sheets. And oh yeah, obviously we have like the little window over here too, which does actually have plexiglass in it. The only window we have with plexiglass because I couldn't afford more than that. And yeah, we got this little rickety light. Just painted it with some rust to make it look, or not rust, sorry, with a stain to make it look rusty. And all of our rules and the price guide and stuff that's usually just here every year. You've probably seen it all before. We also have the glow bands, which we'll hand out for people who want to get the ultimate experience packages or the waterfall VIP experience package, which is basically just touching. I have a radio down there. I know it's difficult to see. It'll all be in the full edited demo, but we have it playing like ominous music over here and weird like audio recordings I did to make it seem like, you know, stuff about the Waterfall family, all their murderous, incestuous, cannibalistic ways, stuff like that. A lot of fun, just really set the scene. Just about to get inside, but I also wanted to mention we have cornhole over here. We have the Pantophobia one, and then this one just says X on it. Just, you know, a little fun thing to do. We were going to get out another skeleton, but decided against it. We still have to put him away just because of the wind. But yeah, I think that about covers it for the facade. Sorry if I'm trying to go kind of fast. There's a lot to cover in this video, and it is horrible outside, and I really want to get into the haunt because the wind is terrible. So we are going to go ahead and head on in so that I can show you guys the rest. All right, hopefully I should be shielded from frostbite at least a little bit more in here. So yeah, this is the first room here. It's just kind of like an entryway to the Waterfall farmhouse. As you guys will see, the goal of this haunt is sort of to, I mean, clearly like there's something going on. There's something weird and wrong with this house right off the bat, but it goes from like weird house to straight backwoods hillbilly hell nightmare. And that's kind of the goal we wanted to do. But yeah, you'll see that more and more as it goes on. The lighting really does not take effect because there's obviously big cracks in the ceiling, which, I mean, this is the first time we've ever done ceiling that's not tarp. So it's a step up for sure. A little scary because we're always worried about, you know, caving in, but it's held up through big rainstorms and big winds clearly. So I think we'll probably, hopefully be okay for, you know, one more night because if I haven't said yet, this is being recorded on Halloween, so happy Halloween. I know this is coming out at least a few weeks after, but hopefully not much longer than that. Anyway, now that all of that's out of the way, as you can see, we have Korak Monster here, just doing the same thing as last year. He is not hooked up because this is not a paranormal house. It's just a murder cannibal house. That's a weird sentence to say, but yeah, he's not hooked up or anything. We have bones hanging everywhere. As you can see, there's like rib cages and femurs and feet and skulls and all that good stuff, because of course there is. I got a bunch of just like random picture frames on sale from Goodwill, and we distressed them a little bit and hung them up, make it look more like a house environment. We bought a ton of wallpaper, which was really bad to get up. I did not like doing that at all. Painted the bottom green, and then we had the molding in the middle here to really make it look like, you know, just a full house setting, because, you know, it's a house. We got to make it look like a house, right? Anyway, you'll notice here we got like some bones and a full skeleton guy down here and dog cages. I got all these crates just for free from neighbors and stuff like that. They just usually give me some stuff for the haunted house, which is always great because we always use a bunch of it. I wanted to put some denim in there, or not denim, sorry, plaid in there, make it look like, you know, shirt, just because it's kind of funny. We got chicken off of Amazon. By far one of the most liked pieces in the haunt so far. We keep having people talking about the chicken. Kind of funny. Just yeah, another leg in that one. Nothing too crazy, because right off the bat, it's just kind of supposed to be a creepy ambience. Not really anything like too intense in your face yet, but you know, we'll get there. All right, just to keep this video moving along, yeah, we got like a bunch of old, oh, I tripped over something. We got a bunch of old books and stuff in here. I got all these books for free, and you know, some old wine bottles. I was given all these bottles, by the way. You'll see a lot of these wine bottles throughout everything, but I was given all these for free from the old haunted house that I worked at, Necropolis, so shout out to them. We got all these books for free from a library that was throwing them all away. So all this cool stuff. Yeah, we got this nightstand, which is used in like every one of our haunts. You can go back and look. It's in like almost everyone since 2019, I think, with, you know, the flicker lamp on there and the skull. Oh, all of these bones, by the way, are painted with stain just because it makes them look old and nasty, and it was not fun to do, but you know, it ended up looking good, so it's worth it. We got this chair for free from somebody in the neighborhood. Big shout out to him. The fur on top of it is actually Cerberus's back piece, so you know, for you haunters in the know, I'm sure you'll know what that is. My old Cerberus has been broken for a while, so I just decided to use his parts for something good. One other thing you may have noticed is that the walls are covered in like vintage Halloween decorations. This is kind of on purpose because the original idea for this haunt was actually going to be like a very vintage Halloween house, which it kind of just escalated into more of like Cannibal Hillbilly Farm with a hint of vintage everywhere. So we wanted to make it look like, you know, it's Halloween, they're decorating for Halloween. It makes sense. And yeah, we got like one more light just right over here, which is just kind of darkened. It doesn't look like it on camera right now, but I promise it is, just so this room has a very dim lit feel and everything. Yeah, that about covers it. And then you'll notice the entryway to the next room is a brown door with a pumpkin head painted on it, or a pumpkin face, I guess, which is, you know, kind of ominous on its own. But when you go in, you will notice why. Because it is the living room, or what we lovingly refer to as the pumpkin room. All right, really trying to keep this video flowing and not as long as last year's, hopefully, because last year's was like over an hour or something. But yeah, we have all these creepy, weird figures in here. We have an actress in here who dresses in like a tattered white gown with like a strapped-on pumpkin mask. Also from Haunted Hills Productions, I believe. Oh yeah, and hold on, let me adjust here. There we go. Yeah, sorry, we got carpet in some of these rooms. We have patches of it in here. We have more of it in the next room, or the first room, I mean, sorry. But yeah, full carpet. It has been a nightmare to deal with the rain, but it looks good for the most part, so that's a plus. All stuff we just got from, you know, tearing up our old carpets and replacing them. So we just pretty much got a bunch of free carpet, so, you know, I would count that as a W. Hard to really get a grasp on it right now because we have all this sunlight shining through, but we have like one flame light there, one flame light there, and then tea lights in all the pumpkins, and that is the only lighting in this room. It's really dim and flickery, and it's very disorienting to be in here for very long, which I kind of feel bad for the actress we have in here, but it freaks every single guest out, so let's hope that that continues. Yeah, anyways, you can see we did the pattern with the wallpaper and the molding and the green underneath again, just to make it look like an old vintage kind of house. I even found a barn picture from Goodwill, so that was definitely a score. I knew I had to have that immediately. I got a ton of like old vintage Halloween cutouts. I know you guys saw them in the other room, but I specifically put every pumpkin one that we had in here because, of course, it's the pumpkin room. We got probably $50 worth of like vintage pumpkin pails from Walmart, and I distressed every single one of them. We got, you know, old tattered sheets on these figures. This is actually my Distortions Edgar Allan Poe. We used him out front last year, but I thought it'd be cool to use him as a figure this year. Last year, everyone was talking about how they couldn't tell if he was real or not because of the eyes, so I wanted to redo that with this and have it so that it's just his eyes peeking through this sheet, because as soon as you enter this room, you just see figure, 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 and figure back there, and you just think, oh no. It's very freaky to be in at night. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Obviously, you will see all that in the unedited nighttime tour. We got just like, I use stain mostly for a lot of the distressing and for some spray paint too, of course. We had just this empty picture frame, so I spray painted a like pumpkin face kind of thing on it. Just, you know, cross and wallpaper and picture frames all along the walls, and then written in blood is "Beware the Scarecrow," one of our big taglines this year, because there's a big scarecrow scene at the end, and it's trying to kind of like ramp up to that, I guess. We got this couch for free from a neighbor. I covered it in white sheets because the couch was like a dark gray and it didn't really match the room's aesthetic, excuse me. So I wanted to make it look like old and weird and nasty, so I just covered it in sheets and made it look, you know, like an old couch, some weird stuff going on. I don't know. We have this weird bunny doll that I've had for several years. It's been in a ton of haunts. Another big picture we got from Goodwill. I blacked out all the faces on it. A lot of people have told me how freaky and weird that is, so that's working, I guess. And yeah, without further going on about this room. Oh, real quick though, we do have, this is where all the music plays. We have like old vintage Halloween music playing in here. Kind of a fun little spooky, you know, soundtrack. Mainly this inside soundtrack comes from this little area over here. We have a couple pails on the ground there. They usually just end up going on top of that. But again, you'll see all that later. We're still trying to get stuff ready. Little blood scrapes over here, pumpkins along the wall, da 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 da. And without further stalling for time, let's go ahead and head to the next room, which is, of course, the kitchen. This room so far has been a fan favorite. We have the bone chandelier up here, which was custom made, of course. We got a big bag of bones from Amazon or Spirit or something, I don't remember. But we just ended up hot gluing all of it onto this like old rusty lamp looking thing that we had, and dangling feathers and bones and stuff from it. All fake, of course, but you know, looks kind of nasty, looks kind of very Texas Chainsaw. That's one thing I did want to mention too. A lot of this haunt is very much based on the original Texas Chainsaw movie, or at least inspired from it, I'll say that. And it shows in certain areas. This chandelier is definitely one of them. We have the table all set here. We have the heart on a plate and the hand and the skull and the fingers. I made this little centerpiece out of some extra bones that we had. Oh, sorry, wind's going crazy. It's like even messing with the doors in here. That's pretty wild. We got this whole kitchen set for free. It was literally just being thrown away on the side of one of our neighbor's streets. So we got all that for free. This is Grandma Waterfall over here. She is eating a hand, as you can see. She just kind of sits quietly at the table. We don't have her rocking because I wanted her to kind of be immobile. She was kind of supposed to be like the, like Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw again. So, you know, just another little reference there. This is one of my favorite little pieces we have in the whole haunt, just the bread picture. We got that at Goodwill as well. I don't know, I think it's just kind of funny that somebody crocheted like a picture of bread, but I figured it would go well in the kitchen. We have the molding all around this top little banner thing here. The walls are all painted green, obviously. We had our team of actors actually do that. They were very helpful this year with the wallpaper and the painting. I could not have had this haunt done without them, so big shout out to our actors. It's got like little random things like this from Goodwill. Oh, I got the clock too, which is always set to 420, because of course it is. And yeah, another little wall hanging thing with a like severed foot and cockroaches all over it. Just fun little details like that. Over here we have a fully custom made like countertop thing. We were gonna put a sink in it, but we just kind of ran out of time. We have like the meat tenderizer here with some blood splatters, cockroaches all over the place, oven mitt, a spatula, you know, little rags, just fallish type stuff. Oh, and of course the face pie, which a good friend of mine actually made for us just for the haunt. So I thought that was a lot of fun. Completely forgot to open it till just now, but we have this container of just plates and stuff in, well, actually I should probably bring this up first. We have, yeah, the cabinets up here, all of which I got off Facebook Marketplace for like less than 50 bucks for all three, so that was pretty good. But yeah, I got a bunch of dinner plates for free off the side of the road. We just dressed them up and put cockroaches all over them because of course. And here is usually where we keep fog supplies because there's a fog machine up here. I'll get to that in a second. And yeah, and here is usually just where we have some fog seep out. Nothing too crazy. Oh, and also we have a little light under here just for, you know, a little extra light in the room because it gets dark at night. But yeah. Oh, and fog machine up here, which will lead right into the next room. And it does seep out in here a little bit too because I wanted some crossfire. I want the whole haunt to be smoky when we open. So, you know, I wanted to make sure we had all of our bases covered. And lastly, before I forget, we have this little skin skull guy who is secured to the shelf. I think he just has a couple of screws underneath it, but you know, he looks kind of funny just hanging up there. I feel like this room is a little bit empty for sure, but we have an actress in here who does a great job and makes great use of the space. And this has actually been one of our fan favorite rooms so far. So whatever she's doing, she's killing it in here. I guess you will see in the full edited video pretty soon. Anyway, once the cook character is done making people sit down and eat her disgusting meals, she will then push open this door, which leads you directly into the meat locker. So this is the meat locker where the actress will send guests into. It's really hard to see because of the daylight coming through, but we have 2 fluorescent lights in here. Both of them have been heavily painted to make it like dimmed and darkened. One of them is like flickering there at the end. We have it on the same flicker box as the light out front. We actually have a lot of lights attached to them, but you'll see more of those throughout. And the actress in here will actually press a button to release fog from this nozzle. You can kind of see that. Yeah, sorry, difficult to shift the camera because I'm holding a microphone at the same time. I don't usually have to do that. But yeah, she'll send fog into this area and make it all smoky so it's like, you know, freezing temperatures. And it is actually freezing today, so that's that'll add to the effect a little bit, I guess. Just wanted to show the effect. Usually it's not this windy and it comes out a little clearer, but you know, we have some fog going in here, kind of making it all spooky and foggy. Oh yeah, before I forget, we have this guy, just got off of Amazon. Before it was very pink. I covered it in Permablood and he looks much better now, especially in the lighting that we have. Got a couple of plastic but genuine like molds of meat hooks, which are not sharp, but have been getting caught on like everything. So that's always fun. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen this guy before. He's been all around, usually at like Party City and stuff. Just another one of those very pink molds of guys I covered in Permablood and made him look a little bit gorier, a little bit more realistic. Still not perfect, but you know, we're on a budget, so everything can't be perfect. Just looking back at some of these walls, you know, we have blood splattered across some of these areas. You know, the seams are a little bit clearer because rain has warped the walls a little bit because they're all actually made of wood technically, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, you know, just detailed some bits with spray paint and stain and put Permablood in several different areas. We also have just this like little factory light here I got from Spirit last year, just because, you know, make it look a little bit more industrial. We had a lot of industrial stuff left over from the haunt last year, and I was able to use a few of them to my advantage in here. It looks really cool when it's foggy, not so much right now. You'll see it all on the unedited full tour. Anyway, trying to keep this moving because we actually have to start getting ready pretty soon. But this next room is the hunting lodge, and this is one of my favorite rooms. This is where stuff starts getting like real backwoods, real like nasty. Over here we have this little rack with a pig leg and obviously a human hand on it. Another meat hook because we had an extra, and I just put a little sheet on top of that just to make it look extra like backwoods and nasty. The walls in here have been extremely warped, but it kind of works for the scene. I love the paint job that we did with just, this is all just like wood stain at the top to make it look like, I don't know, it's just like weird and rustic and real nasty looking, but it really adds to the room. It's so hard to tell on video because it just does not look nearly as good. But in person, it's very like backwoods and rustic and just nasty in here. So yeah, a couple things first people notice walking in the room. Obviously we have the deer head. That is a fake one from Amazon. I was strictly forbidden from getting a real one, which was my original plan. But you know, this one works well too. I got this fireplace piece, which literally I just found on the side of the road, like the year we did the castle haunts, like 2021, I think. And I've just been saving it back for a time that we need it because I knew we would want it at some point. And yeah, it works out really well. We have a fog machine up there. Part of it comes out into the fireplace. Part of it goes in the locker. We'll talk about that in a second. And then part of it comes out in the first room to kind of create a trifecta of smoke. Yeah, you all get it. Over here, we have one of the few real animal pieces in here. This is a real crocodile or alligator skull. I don't really know the difference. We have this hook, which was heavily inspired by the hit video game Dead by Daylight. The character we have in here actually resembles the Huntress from that game quite a bit. So notice that in the edited video or the unedited one coming later in this video. But yeah, we have just like a meat hook over here. You know, just add to the hillbilly kind of vibe. We have a couple of BB guns up on the wall. This one's actually Red Ryder. We just covered up the logo with tape and put a feather on it to make it look a little more backwoods. You know, a couple bloody handprints, some spatters of nasty stuff on the walls. Oh yeah, back here we carved out an area back behind the fireplace to add a little brick panel. We have a couple of human fingers and hearts and maybe like a tongue or something hanging in there. Got some sticks and a fire and ice light, and we ignite it with smoke. It looks really cool at night. The other main things you'll notice are the chair in the middle of the room. I figured we needed a big red chair for a hunting lodge, and we had one, so we just kind of threw it in here. And then we have the same kind of light that was used for the bone chandelier in the kitchen, but this one is just the rustic looking farmhouse light with a couple of feathers dangling from it for, you know, hillbilly effect. And moving on to the locker, which obviously I think is kind of the big main focus of the room. We painted, it was originally green. We got it from somebody off Facebook Marketplace for free. And it was really difficult to get in here, but you know, we did. It's gonna be a pain in the neck to get out, but whatever. We painted it red because of course Dead by Daylight, all that reference. And we put a crow on top of it also as a reference to Dead by Daylight. If you know, you know. I'm gonna get it open. I kinda don't have a free hand, so I'm just gonna do that off camera real quick. And boom, part of the $5 package is that she can actually lock you in here, which is a lot of fun. We have a couple of different weapons for her to use, all fake. Of course, we have a bat, the axe, and a can of gasoline that says chainsaw gas. We have it filled with water, and she can dump that around like people's feet if they have the like full experience thing or whatever, which is always a lot of fun. As we move along, I just got this little fake sheepskin thing from Amazon as well. Hung this up on the wall, put some perma-blood on it, made it look all nasty. Ooh, this wind is really getting crazy. Wow, I probably have to go check out and stuff in a second, but yeah, that's not fun. Yeah, anyway, got that. We got Ram's head from Spirit, which I painted with stain. Little sheet hanging before the next room, and this little bone thing, kind of a reference to the Texas Chainsaw game, actually. This is actually made with real bones, by the way. These are pig rib bones. I just had some left over from food I was eating. I cleaned them all off thoroughly, of course, but thought it'd be cool if we had a little scene with actual bones. So there those are. And now going into the next room, this is the hunting lodge hallway. A lot to go over in here, so I'll try to make it kind of quick. All right, really trying to go over this area quickly. We have a lot of like signs hanging up on the wall, you know, weapons, machetes. Got most of these off of Amazon, a couple of them from stores. This is my favorite one because it says no hunting in the like hunting area. And of course it says Bunny Waterfall, the name of the huntress character we have back here. And this is one of my favorite ceilings we've ever done here. We just have 2x4s with like pallet strips going across the whole thing. And if you look up carefully in the day, you'll be able to see it. It's much more noticeable at night. We have just a floodlight in there with a flicker bulb. And when that goes out, the whole room goes dark. And the whole thing is overcast with the shadows of the slats. So it's really cool in here at night. Outside of the ceiling though, yeah, we just have a bunch of knives dangling on ropes, a couple of vines. This is a real hacksaw, and of course dulled. We have an axe over here, the wrench, the machete, the stop signs. Everything's been thoroughly distressed and aged. The condemned, that's actually from last year's. That is also from last year's. And the no trespassing sign right before. I have this like metal door with the rust on it, obviously, right before you get to the barn section. Most of these signs are from last year. I bought a couple new ones for this year just because, you know, why not? Oh, and before I forget, leaves all over the ground because I wanted this whole haunt to have a very like vintage Halloween fall type vibe to it. So I thought that'd be fun. But yeah, anyway, going into the next room. We are now technically outside again, so it's very windy. I apologize, but this is the facade to the second haunt of this whole thing, the barn. We have what looks like, let me see if I can show you, the back of the house over here with one more little window. This is the same like facade panels we used outside. And oh, there's my chainsaw on the ground. That is obviously not staying there. It's just for now. We have leaves along the whole path. We got all this corn from a neighbor, which was great. This is all real corn. And we found this like fence piece just on the side of the road. We cut it up and made it fit our little scene area. This is actually one of my favorite little scenes that we have in the whole thing. Also, originally I was gonna have it so the whole ceiling was gone, so you could just see the stars or whatever. But then I realized you could see the house, and that kind of took away from the effect of having the barn right here. So I went ahead and got like some leaf netting and put that over top of it, which I think is very effective anyway. We have this light, which is also hooked up to the flicker box. I don't know if you can tell on video, but it is flickering quite heavily. And then we got, this is the same panel we've been using in like the hunting lodge and stuff like that. We just painted it red and distressed it a bit and put some like molding around the door to make it look more barn-like, put a sheet there and some vines, all that cool stuff. Over here we just got a no trespassing private property sign because, you know, I thought they needed one. We got a big package of crows. There's another one there spreading his wings. We got some bloody rusted barbed wire all along the fence because of course they would have that. Some mossy stuff hanging down, all that cool stuff. Anyway, first thing you'll notice in here is Demented rocking behind this whole like enclosed pen area that we've made. She has obviously had a costume change this year. I just bought some clothes from Goodwill and put some leaves in her hair and make her look like she's just like being held against her will here. One thing we did do was put up a bunch of like gardening tools all over the wall. You'll notice those to make it look more like a barn. The backstory behind this area is like the butcher character Charlie is like having a rough day, and he's, you know, real angry at everyone, and he's back there, and he's kind of created this like this whole, you'll notice the outside walls are all red. It's all supposed to be a big open space, but then Charlie went ahead and made his little barricade here with the pallets that he just had to create his pen. We have an actress in here. She does a great job of looking terrified, like she's a victim or whatever. Enclosed in chicken wire entirely. We have all these sheets here so that you can't really... the main reason is because she wants to get in through over here, and we need to make it look like it would be there just naturally. So I just kind of made it look like it was just a big mess of everything here. We have this skeleton guy that I ran out of perma blood halfway through painting, but he looks fine, just kind of hanging from a chain. This rusted light fixture over here to kind of light up this little area. It's very dim in here. We have barbed wire going across the top as well. You can already see like how red the back room there is. And as you go in further and further, we have this broom, another flicker light on a rusted fixture from Spirit. You got this barrel with this little crate thing here, which it's, I guess, just supposed to look like a toolbox, but actually it's holding a bunch of like medicine bottles from last year. A little reference to Orphic Pines, I guess. We got a bloody little bone there and some chains and real gasoline container we got from a neighbor. Gardening tools and shovel, all fun little stuff like that. Next up is this little hallway here. We have just like little scraps and sheets of bloody things. My head of gore, whatever it was, I forget. I made a video on it back in like 2017. You can go check it out. I'll link it below. And we have this bloody scabbed skeleton guy with this lantern we got from Amazon. We got a bunch of those lanterns actually. This is actually Bloody Bag of Jokes wrapped in a white sheet, just kind of dangling here from a rope. He's been kind of a fun little fan favorite thing. People like just moving past him. Got a pig leg here, which has been bloodied up with perma blood. Another little sheet. I think these sheet scraps were actually the same ones used in this very area last year for the hospital, so you can go back and check that out if you want, but I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, sorry, just kind of trying to go fast because we have to open pretty shortly, but we got, you know, all these slats here. It was kind of fun to put up. Very different design for walls than we're used to, so that was kind of fun. We just had random scraps, and we just kind of plastered them across here just because I thought it'd be more of a hillbilly kind of vibe, and, you know, all good stuff like that. And, yeah, you get all the way back here. You see the rake we put up on the wall, and turn the corner. Boom. Gutted body. But yeah, this guy right here ended up being one of our big like hit areas. A lot of people were talking about how weird and disorienting this was because the soundtrack for this whole inside area is really cool. It's basically just like weird metal-y kind of sounding sounds, not like metal music, just kind of like weird disorienting like sounds and whatever. But for this guy over here specifically, we had like sounds of like buzzsaws and flies and stuff like that just swarming the area. But yeah, as you can see, we have the same sort of like palette wall idea that we did with Grimm back in the Haunt in 2021, I want to say, with the castle. Because I thought it seemed more like hillbilly, like a weird opening on the wall here. And we have, yeah, just the guy kind of covered in sheets. This is actually Hung Up Zombie. But I just completely covered him in sheets and gave him some longer legs and wrapped him in a white cloak and ripped it up. We put some spray foam in there. I think there's some perma gore, perma blood, some spray paint a bit, you know. We got the ropes all around him, stuff like that. I also just had some extra fake straw that I stuffed in little crevices to make it look more farmy. Got another crow guy up there. We got some shovels. Yeah, just some farming equipment. I had a couple extra bones, so I hung them up alongside him to make it look just like a very weird hillbilly area. Oh, and rusted flicker light we got from Haunted Hills Productions. A lot of stuff from them this year. They have some really cool stuff. Go check them out. And as you turn the corner away from him, we are now entering the butcher room. We got these two skulls here. It's hard to see, but they're plastered with perma blood as well, and this weird like bloody burlap sort of creepy cloth thing. You just got to push to the side, and boom, you are now in the big murder dungeon butcher room. So the first thing that most people probably notice about this room is the bloodied corpse that's just on top of this like wooden workbench. First of all, I want to talk about the workbench though. This baby right here we got off of Facebook Marketplace for free. Someone was just giving it away. We actually traveled to an area that looked like straight out of a Texas Chainsaw movie or something for it. I always forget how like backwoods the state that I live in can get, because I live in definitely more of a residential area. I always forget that it's most of it's not like that. Yeah, but either way, this was a very like authentic piece, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, obviously slapped some permagore on it and some on a lot on the walls and sheets and everything. I'll get to that. But yeah, we have her going up here. She's not usually on when we have the haunt going, just because her noise really overpowers everything else, and there's a lot going on in this area. There's a lot of cool sound effects that I really want people to hear, and she's supposed to look dead anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But you know, it's very freaky to just see somebody being massacred with a chainsaw on a, you know, big wooden desk as soon as you walk in. That always kind of catches people off guard. Outside of that, also wanted to talk about the walls. We have these. Obviously, you guys already know this is used in literally every single haunt we've ever done. You can go back and look at any of the other videos. It is always there. And then the meat cleaver. Yes, these are both removable so that the butcher can, you know, mess with people with specific weapons. And the chainsaw down here, which of course we always have. You can't really see the lighting on it very well. I'm actually going to turn on the flash so you can see how we painted it this year. Yeah, I really don't like using the flash very much, but yeah, we got like permablood all over the blade there. We painted it sort of like a dirty yellow. Made it look very like backwoods and hillbilly. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, at any rate, you know, you can... definitely needs to be oiled up, but it sounds kind of good rusty for this, you know, experience, I would say. Oh, right, almost forgot to mention, I don't know how, but the butcher character we have is this like 6-foot guy who bursts out through there, and he's wearing like a, you know, gory apron, and he has like I think it's a pumpkin pulp pig mask on his head, and has like long black hair, and looks just like a real greasy, real nasty looking guy who has just like this decapitated pig shell over his head. It always really catches guests off guard when they come in to just see this big guy in a pig head. It's real freaky, and he's, you know, wielding the chainsaw, and he comes at you and has this body that he's butchering. It's always quite the shock. Obviously, all the lighting we have in here is just red lights, also kind of taken after the Texas Chainsaw stuff. We have just that one rusty one there. We have one of the Real House lights, and then we got another one of the like rusty lights to hang from here, which is also on a flicker setting to make it look just old and, you know, nasty backwoods. You get the gist by now. And another thing I like to talk about is we have these just white sheets draped upon here. Some of them have permagore on them, some have permablood. This one is actually hiding the flicker control box right here. This is where we have a ton of our lights plugged into because, you know, they're all in flicker settings or whatever. We got the towel there covering up the skeleton from before. We got this little mini metal shelf thing housing fake chainsaw that I just had, but I thought looked good for decoration. Some barbed wire, the permablood glove I've been using to slather permablood all over everything this year. Just a rusted buzzsaw we got from Spirit, just, you know, a little decoration, nothing we're actually going to use. Some twine and a glove. Just random stuff I thought fit the sort of general aesthetic of the room. And yeah, as you all can see, we got these chains holding up some bloody hands. I just got these hands off Amazon. It's hard to tell, but they are infinitely better now than they used to be. I slathered the ends in permablood. Because permablood makes everything better. You all know how it is. I tied them up with some rope to attach to the chains because I thought it added more of like a backwoods vibe to it. And yeah, we got another pig leg here because, of course, I bought up literally Spirit's entire collection of pig legs. They only had like 4 or 5, but I got all of them because, of course, I did. Over here is one of my favorite scenes in the whole haunt. We have a strip of permagore intestines over here, which is just slathered in like more permablood just everywhere, and we have a crow just like casually eating it. I thought that would be a fun little thing to just have in here because there's birds like all over the haunt. I thought it'd be funny to just have a little one just kind of pecking at human remains. And then another just big white sheet covered in permagore or permablood, because this whole thing is just clearly supposed to be the butcher room. This is where Charlie goes to hack up people so that Mama can prepare them for dinner. It's a whole story. I probably should have posted it somewhere, and I might still, honestly. If it's not in the comments of the official haunt video, check the comments of this video. If it's not there, then I will be working on it shortly to come out somewhere. So yeah, there's a whole lore behind these family characters, and just, it's all very character-based. Each room has some deep meaning to it. Each character has a lot of backstory. It's a whole thing. This was kind of a last-minute addition with just the wood we had left. This is a couple of 2x4s we had propped up, and they're all painted silver. If you can't tell, it's just another like butcher apron I had, I think from Evil Scientist, actually, like one of the old ones I had, and I just had that ripped up and whatever, put it on here, make it look like one of his aprons too. But got a bunch of the meat hooks off of I don't remember which side I got them off of, but we got a bunch of the, you know, the mold of them. They're all plastic, obviously. And, you know, a couple of spirit legs I doused in perma blood and made them look much better. We shoved the hooks through a few of them, made it look like this is just kind of where he keeps some of his racks of people for the time being, as well as clearly just all over, because there's skulls and pig and human and everything just everywhere. This is just a real nasty mess of a room. Just showing off some of the littler details. Over here we have the crate of gore, which is also in a YouTube video, I believe I have somewhere from 2017. I'll try to link that one below as well. Just some nasty stuff in there, and some, you know, I don't know, I was gonna say clothes, but not really clothes. I guess just like sleeve pieces for the butcher apron we got that I doused in Permagore, but they would not stay on because it's like vinyl material, so I just kind of threw them in there. Chain in there as well. Underneath this desk, we got the skull stack, which is also covered in perma blood. I'll see if I can get that in a flash real quick. Yeah, underneath here is a whole mess because we've had people come through and give us like candy and stuff, so he was just stashing it over here. But the skulls are right here. This desk is also where we keep like tools and water and supplies and stuff. For anyone wondering where all that goes, it's hidden in plain sight. Just to keep the whole like barn thing consistent, we have like, you know, gardening tools just strung up every which way every once in a while. Little fun little tidbits just to kind of make it seem more like a full thing, more of a full experience. And then you get over to this area to exit. There's really not much in here. I just kind of like painted Beware the Scarecrow in blood, which is, as you know, one of our big taglines of the year. Has a few finger scrapes, and we have a, you know, foot hanging from some rope here, some creepy cloth, and a rusted fluorescent light. Really not a lot going on in here. I just kind of wanted an area for the butcher character to burst out of, because, you know, the guests would like to come in through that way, and they wait in here for a while, like, what is this? There's nothing happening. And then, you know, as they think they're safe, then boom, big guy in a pig mask comes bursting out and grabs the chainsaw and starts forcing them in their face. And if they have like VIP experience, he can like hold them down on the table and, you know, make it look like he's going to cut them up, all that fun stuff. Well, that is about all there is to really say for the inside. So I guess we can go on to the outdoor area now. Hey guys, so I'm gonna level with you. This is a different day than the rest of the stuff that was shot, and that's because it was way too windy yesterday and I couldn't keep holding a microphone throughout the rest of the haunt because there is still a little bit more to go over and I wanted it to kind of take my time. But yeah, yesterday was Halloween, everything went really well. More about that in a little bit, but the rest of this video will be shot on either tonight or tomorrow because honestly I'm very tired, but I will at least shoot the rest of this part right now. So anyway, this is the entrance to what we like to call the Scarecrow Tunnel. We got a little, not really little, but like a 6-foot pine tree over here. These are all actual bushes just in the yard. We set up one of the spirits old display things right here and have so many pumpkins throughout it. Yeah, we got some just dangling bones hanging here, more pine trees coming through, lots of vines. You'll see it's kind of a whole ordeal, but anyway, let's go on in. So in this outdoor area, you'll see we have lots of 2x4s kind of strung up in the yard. We planted them in the grounds. That was kind of a big deal, but it was definitely worth it, and used pretty much just material we still had to build this, like just clearly you can see just wood scraps, flooring we had left over, window shutters, scraps of like plywood we still had, and I bought a bunch of like camo netting and vines and stuff to put in here to make it look very naturey. So yeah, first of all, we got a bunch of lanterns off Amazon. I don't know why that's flickering so much on camera. It's not doing that in person. They all look like that for some reason, but it's very ominous and very like I don't know, very dark and weird to be in here at night for sure. We've gotten so many compliments on this area already. This is definitely one of the most freaky areas to be in at night. And we have a new actress for this year in this area. She does great. But yeah, as you guys can see, we just had another little scrap of wood we had left over. So I made a little Waterfall Farm sign. We had our cast of actors and actresses carve a ton of pumpkins. I did a few. But yeah, mostly it was them because I'm not as good at it. But yeah, we had, I put a little vine hand on this guy, reaching out. All of these had candles in them. Some of them still are lit up because I didn't feel like turning them off last night. This is supposed to be our little pumpkin patch area over here, or like the pumpkins grow, which is why most of them aren't carved. I think that's the only one that is. No big deal. Had a little bones in there. I think I had more than just that one, but they may have blown away or something happened to them. I'm not sure. Just to make it seem like a sort of deadly, weird area. Oh, and before I go any further, I should probably mention that in like the backstory and lore or whatever of this whole haunt, this family of like cannibalistic, inbred, hillbilly people or whatever, they own this farm, this pumpkin patch or whatever. That's pretty obvious by everything. But in the backstory, then there's this scarecrow that they have on the pumpkin patch that a few of them have claimed to see come alive and are freaked out by it. And in the whole canon universe of everything that we're doing or whatever, then it's kind of supposed to be like the escape mental patient Maxwell from the haunt last year is like squatting on the farm and is using the scarecrow disguise that they had on, just like a pillar or whatever, to, remain in plain sight and hide out here. So, it's not actually paranormal, but it's kind of trying to seem like it is a little bit. I like to keep our hunts kind of grounded in reality, which is why I didn't like the castle one as much, because it wasn't. But yeah, whatever. Either way, there's this whole thing with the scarecrow, and everyone who lives in the waterfall house is terrified of it, and it's a whole backstory. But yeah, anyway, as you walk down this little corridor, we have the actress come up and tell you, don't go into the pumpkin patch. Weird things happen there at night. As she takes this shovel, and we'll have her like scrape it across here, make weird noises and freak people out. Just more farming equipment to use as little props and weapons. And yeah, it's like I said, at night it is very disorienting in here. You'll see all that in the unedited videos going through at night, but pretty cool stuff. And we have this little drape piece which you'll move past, and we have some more pine trees, some bushes, and you are in the pumpkin patch. So yes, this is the final scene of the haunted house this year. We have the big pumpkin patch sign over here lit up by just that lantern. As you can see, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we have Scarecrow 1, Scarecrow 2, and then we have our actress over here in a scarecrow costume that looks kind of similar to the style of both of these, standing here very still with a, very vacant expression or whatever, and a mask, obviously. And she'll jump out at people, and, for ultimate experience, you can grab them, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. But anyway, this is one of the coolest areas at night. It's not nearly as cool during the day because, clearly it's fun to just look at all the pumpkin faces and everything. But at night, they're all lit up by candlelight, and it's really cool and freaky to just walk through this with, we have like ominous birds chirping and like creepy, ominous music playing as you're walking through this area. So it's a lot of fun and freaks people out usually. As you can see, we have more bottles hung up on the trees by rope. Just put some rakes and stuff back there for effect. More pumpkins, pumpkin patch sign. Scarecrow we built by hand mostly. Just this little piece I got a few years back, just on the side of the road. I think that was actually used in the castle, but of course we spray painted Beware the Scarecrow on it because it's another big tagline there, because this is literally the area with the scarecrows. So, we kind of had to. I don't know if anyone has ever seen the Halloween tree, but that is our reference to it, which is why it's the only one hanging from a tree. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest checking it out. It is one of my favorite childhood Halloween classics. Yeah, we have the harvester over here. I put burlap over his face to make him look more like a vacant, like actual scarecrow, because I didn't want people to be able to tell which one is real, because literally the only light we have in this whole area is just in the pumpkins, and then that flickering lantern right there, which is kind of freaky to just walk through all that. And as you can see, we stuck some little tree branches in the ground, and we have the rope kind of leading you out. As you guys can tell, the entrail this year is so much bigger than it usually is, which I thought really worked to our advantage, because I wanted the haunt to be as long as possible, but we had very limited resources and money this year. I think we made it work pretty well though. And that ended up falling over, but the head is obviously supposed to be up on top there. And that is also part of the backstory. The hillbillies, or the waterfalls, I mean, at least, like to sacrifice some of their victims every once in a while to the scarecrow. And I wanted that to be like kind of a nod to that, because we have obviously flickering in there, and the perma blood all over her and all over the pumpkin and everything. It made it seem like they wanted to offer that as a sacrifice to the scarecrow to appease him or whatever. But yeah, anyway, this used to be our sign, but it's just kind of a tool, or like, I don't want to say tool, I guess like gardening tool storage area now. I just use at the end here. We have the vomiting pumpkin, some classic ones, little ones, all that fun stuff as you're going along out through the exit. And after guests have finally trekked along through all that and finally gotten out to the end, then here I am standing up on top of here with this giant like beach ball of a pumpkin, which I don't know if you can tell how big it is, but like just compared to my hand, it's very big. Yeah, to stand up on there with like one foot up on the pumpkin, my other hand on the chainsaw or whatever, and I'm taunting them being like, oh, my family didn't kill you yet, I gotta do everything myself, and I rev up the chainsaw and stick it in their faces from up high while they're just cowering below and try to run out, and sometimes I would just jump down off of there and chase them down the whole street with the chainsaw. It's always a lot of fun. Well, guys, as per usual, we are now in the back room where I just kind of chill out for a second in between the tours. You can see most of the costume stuff there. We have our walkie-talkies. It is all a hot mess this year. I honestly didn't even get the chance to like make a real rack for them, which kind of sucks. But like, yeah, there's the butcher's hair. Mine is around here somewhere. There's the haunt boob wall. I'm sure some of you have seen that by now. It's kind of a funny little meme about our haunt for this year. But either way, that about does it for the daytime unedited walkthrough with narration. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and show you guys next up the just everything in action, other than probably my part out front, because I just kind of let guests in. I mean, obviously I'm in character, but we don't really do much other than that. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys that, and then we'll get to the nighttime walkthrough. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Authorities were alerted to Helms Ranch yesterday to investigate reports of cattle abuse, but what they found instead was disturbingly serene. The ranch was devoid of livestock. Instead, 13 men, all dressed in plain white clothes, were sitting in chairs spread throughout the property. Each one was wearing a simple rope belt, a set of sunglasses, holding a copy of King James Bible. No man showed signs of abuse unless for the honor. The sheriff's department believes that there is some amount of destruction of the Bible, from the large quantities of it discovered in the city. No reason has been given as to why they
How's about cooking something up with me?
Oh, hey, I know who's having company for dinner. Why don't y'all have a seat? Come on, make it feel comfortable. Y'all want to try my famous fingers? The chicken fingers.
Yeah.
With lots of ketchup.
Sounds delicious.
Go ahead, dig in.
Ooh.
Real good.
You know, I think I'll pass for now.
You'll pass.
Yeah.
All right, fine, but you at least gotta try my pie. Whew, everybody loves my pie. Look at here, look at that.
It's nice.
Mixed meat.
Wow, that's a nice looking pie.
Take a whiff. It smells real good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very fresh.
Don't you want to try that pie?
Maybe next time.
Go ahead. Come on. Don't you just try it.
I was warned
please.
against trying your food.
Please help me! Please! Please help me! Please! Please help me! Please! 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 You can't leave me here! Please! I'm gonna die! Please! Please help me! Please help me! Please! You can't go in there! Please! Please! You're gonna die! Please help me! Please help me! You can't leave me here! Please! Please help me! Please help me! Please! Please help me! Please help me!
Here, piggy, piggy.
Please!
Come here, piggy! It's feeding time!
Don't go through the pumpkin patch. Weird things happen.
Ugh!
But one name seems to be fitting for virtually everyone in the area. Monster.
All right, well, as you all know, it is not currently Halloween. I did, however, get everything set up again, for the most part anyway, just because, you know, wanted to make sure you guys could see the full thing at night, yada, yada. Obviously, here we have the full facade. It looks much cooler at night because we have, my camera is not good. I apologize already for that. But, you know, we got the Pantophobia sign with the crooked letters, the rusty buzzsaw with the X over there. Pretty cool stuff. We also have the Spirit factory lights, I think, on a flicker. Right now, they're all attached to the flicker box, so it makes it look, you know, more old, more rustic. We got the windows over there on both sides. We got the one side boarded up, make it look like an older house. And yes, before you ask, we had shingles across the whole top of the roof. Several of them ended up blowing off, and if you can't tell, the 12-foot skeleton is right there. It kind of looks even on the video right now, but this is at least 15 feet tall, which makes it very difficult to get back up there to fix those. So we just decided it's an old house. Doesn't matter that much. The shingles could just be off. It's all good. We have the skeleton set up again, of course, holding our flag banner. This year we didn't have time to get around to putting the 15-foot phantom up, which kind of sucks, but, you know, he'll be up again next season. Our other skeleton actually ended up breaking on us this year. I think we got him mostly fixed for the time being, but that didn't really happen till after, because if you guys can't tell, this is an enormous project that took up pretty much every waking second of my free time this year. Totally worth it, but yeah, we didn't quite have enough time to fix the other skeleton, which is not a huge deal or anything, but, you know, we got our priorities. It's nighttime now, so it's much harder to see everything, but we got bottles all over the trees there. I didn't put the clothes back up because we accidentally closed them off a little bit ago, and I forgot to get to them, but, you know, it's not a big deal. You already saw the clothesline. It's much nicer to be able to talk about the outside area now that we don't have crazy gusts of wind messing everything up. But yeah, obviously we got the whole porch here with the hanging bottles and the little crow guy up there. I'm going to try my best to show everything because it's kind of dark, but I'm going to do my best. We got the X pumpkin right here, which I need to get some shots of tonight, actually, for the edited video. Kind of forgot to do that last time I was here, so I'll go ahead and do that now that I have a free opportunity. Very difficult to see. I'm actually going to turn on the flash for this next part. Ah, there we go. Yeah, anyway, we got the charred hand and the grill there, which is a real charcoal grill, and, you know, the scorch marks up there make it look like it's been used recently and it's been burning a hand. I have had so many people come up to me and tell me it would look better if I had like flame lights in there, and I agree, but connecting them to an area that has virtually no power source to it is difficult. Literally the nearest electrical item to this whole thing is that, and it's battery powered. And the next is that porch light right there, and that is connected inside the walls. So that's just not going to happen. But yeah, it would look cool. Maybe another year. Anyway, gonna take the flash off. I don't remember how much I already said about this porch area, so I'm gonna try to not repeat myself. We got plexiglass in here. I think I might have said that already, and I don't know if I told the reason though. The only reason we have plexiglass in only this window and not the other ones is because this is the line queue area. This is the window people are gonna be messing with the most because they're waiting, they're bored. It happens. I think we've all been there. So yeah, I wanted to make sure people wouldn't be, screwing up the curtains and stuff in there, because I they're all detailed a very specific way and positioned and hot glued down and everything. So I didn't want, people messing with the curtains. So I put my only plexiglass sheet there. We do have a window over here, difficult to see right now, but we have another curtain thing over here. But this area is usually blocked off with the line queue, so people can't really get back here. And even if they can, this one is, more secured than that other one is. So I think I made the right choice having the plexiglass over on this window. Yeah, and then obviously we got all the missing posters here. I think I probably already went over this, but mostly just people I know. This is like my old boss. That's just a random child I found on the internet. I don't know who that is. Most of the rest are just family members and some friends. We had some of the haunt reviewers that come out to check us out. That's Nora and that's Tyler. They're both from the Scare Factor. They usually come out to check us out and review us. A couple of my haunt buddies up there, stuff like that. And obviously we have all the haunt rules and price guide. You can pause to read all those if you want. I'm not going to read them all off to you, but it's pretty basic stuff. All kind of a dark view from over here. I know the lighting isn't great right now, but we got, the hanging wine bottles all have been distressed and aged. We got the radio over here, which plays cool, intense soundtracks usually for the haunted house. Hard to describe. Usually it's just kind of big booming epic intense kind of music sided along with some radio chatter talking about weird events happening in the area. Some have been taken from Texas Chainsaw games. Some I made on my own to talk about very specific members of the family being seen in public spaces and doing just terrible things. I don't know if I have it uploaded to the Pantophobia page yet. If I don't, then expect that soon. The Pantophobia page will be linked below, and that will have pretty much all the specific audios we've used for the haunt this year. Yeah, and then just a wooden crate full of all the glow bands and VIP bands for people who want to pay a little extra for some scares. And then we pan up over to the door with the private property sign on it. So without further stalling at the facade, let's go ahead and go inside and see how that looks at night. So yeah, right off the bat, this room is much freakier with just the one little dim light right there. It doesn't look dim on camera, but I promise it is. Right there, and then this hall right here, which, yeah, there we go, has the just the store-bought flicker bulb over there, because I wanted it to kind of be weird and go out like that. I thought it would give it sort of a weird little vibe, and I was right, it did. One big thing I love about this year, they're all warped from rain, but we got a real roof this year. We just use old brick panels mostly for a majority of them, and I think they look fantastic. A little rickety now, but in general, they look good. And make it so when it rains, then it just kind of drips in occasionally. It does end up soaking the floors if it rains a lot, but it makes it look kind of freaky and weird that they just have a leaky ceiling. It's pretty cool. Desperately trying to show off everything I can in here as quickly as possible, because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. But yeah, all the vintage Halloween stuff, coat rack monster. This is a real goose feather, hanging bones. I actually have several real animal bones and animal pieces in here, which some people don't love, but I promise, I had nothing to do with the injury of any of the animals, just kind of bought them. Obviously that's just a goose feather. We live in the Midwest, so they're everywhere. That had nothing to do with an animal getting hurt. But yeah, anyway, we got a chicken in there. It's all very dark in here, which was intentional. I wanted it to feel very uncomfortable and disorienting being in here. We also usually have this room pumped up with fog. I actually want to show you right now. Underneath here, we got a fog nozzle coming through because it's queued off in the hunting lodge, but that will spray fog into this room. But yeah, old bookcases with a bunch of free books we got from libraries. We got this chair, which was given to us for free with Cerberus's coat thing on it. We got the lamp, the molding, the paint, the wallpaper. Big shout out to my actors and actresses this year, because they were a giant help. Not so much with this room. Well, the painting in this room for sure, but the wallpaper in the next room, which would have been a nightmare for me and my build partner to do, because it took us like 2 entire days just to do this room in here alone, and we didn't even get like the entire thing done. It was a nightmare to put this stuff up. So big shout out to them for doing virtually the entirety of the walls in the next room and in the kitchen, but I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I mean, I think that about covers it for this room. I just want to point out real quick though, that's my favorite of all the vintage cutouts, in case you were wondering. But yeah, we got this door here, which it's very difficult to see, but there is like a pumpkin smiley face on there. I'm gonna actually turn on the flash so you can see that real quick. Boom, there he is. Look at how happy he is. Very happy to be a part of the haunt. But yeah, I just have that on there as like a cute little entryway to see what you're about to experience. Most people can't even tell it's there because again, it is very dark in this room, and that's like black on dark brown paint. But you know, if you notice it, it's a little warning to what's coming up next, which yeah, let's go ahead and check that out right now actually. And boom. Yeah, so obviously you've all seen this already. I'm sure like the real video is out by now. But this room is just so drastically different at day and night. It's insane because during the day, it really doesn't look like much. But at night, we have just the flame light right back there. And then the flame light right over here. And that lights up virtually everything in the room. Obviously, all the pumpkins all have little candle flickers in them. But that really doesn't do much. This is probably my favorite room in the whole haunt if I had to name just one. But yeah, we got Untimely Death there. Just a mannequin I had. You can see his freaky eyes peeking out through the sheet. I heard like, God, there had to be at least 50 people who thought that that was a real person and pointed out the eyes specifically. So that was perfect, just exactly what we wanted. We got the old vintage couch looking thing here. We got another rug on the floor, kind of hard to see because it's very dark in here. We got the other figure there, Beware the Scarecrow, more vintage pumpkins up here. You know, stuff all along the walls. We got picture frames, the cross, the pumpkin face on that. It's very difficult to see. It's much easier to see in person. My camera is just having a difficult time picking stuff up, but it's very dark and weird in here. It gives a very off vibe, if that makes any sense. But yes, real quick before I forget, huge shout out to my actors and actresses for doing all the wallpaper in this room, which looks amazing. And the painting below, if you can't tell, it's just a dark green to kind of match what we had already from last year. Go back and watch Sanity's Edge. It's one of my favorite haunts we've ever done. But we had the bottom half of those green as well. This year we just went for a slightly darker green to make it look more like an old vintage kind of house. I think it looks great. And then to finish it all off, my build partner and I went out and I spent more than I'm willing to admit on the molding in the middle, which I don't want to say it was worth it, but damn, does it look good. Yeah, and then obviously Beware the Scarecrow, painted in permablood, which is the best stuff in the world. I used the last little bit I had on that, but it looks really messy because of it, and that looks so good to me. And then, yeah, we have my little vintage record player down here, which played most of the soundtrack. During the night, we would usually have, you know, 40s, 50s type music, really old Halloween songs, you know, Monster Mash, stuff like that. Love Potion No. 9, stuff like that, you know, vintage Halloween, because I really wanted the first few rooms to have just such a vintage feel, and I think I really kind of nailed it with a few of them. Definitely feels old and vintage in here, and I love it. And panning down from the pumpkins, we head right into the fan favorite room. Not my personal favorite, but definitely the room I got the most compliments on, the kitchen. Again, giant shout out to the actors who painted all the green and white in this room, and then did the little header thing right there. My build partner and I did end up putting up the molding as we did with the rest of it, but they did the wallpaper up at the top there and all the green on the walls, and obviously, you know, I aged and distressed most of it, but giant shout out to them for doing that, because the day they did it, it was raining in here and everything was wet and it was horrible and cold, and we all wanted to go home, but they all pushed through it and did a great job. So big shout out to them. Obviously, this is one of the rooms that looks much different at night too, because we got the platter here, but yeah, sorry, we got the bone chandelier, which is not picking up very well on camera. I apologize. Did a better job during the day, I think. But yeah, we got that, and then we have this other little light back here underneath there to kind of light up the whole countertop, which looks real nasty right now. But you know, that's kind of intentional. And yeah, this whole room has kind of just a weird, like, it looks like a kitchen. You can tell it's definitely supposed to be a kitchen. The lighting is very weird and off. which is obviously intentional. But it just has the whole haunt's had such a dim feel to it, and it's just like you really feel uncomfortable being here. It's really cool. We use Permablood and Permagore to make most of these dishes. I got a ton of free plates. Someone was just giving them out on the side of their house or whatever. They were moving out, and I think they're just giving away a bunch of free dinner plates, and I got them. I just had a bunch of leftover bones, so I wanted to make a little centerpiece there. Obviously painted it all with stain. Bought some fingers off of Amazon and put them in a pile of gore, and looks pretty nasty, I would say. This is obviously the rocking moldy mommy, but in this haunt, we call her Grandma, sort of a reference to Texas Chainsaw again, with the Grandpa Sawyer character. But yeah, this is Grandma. She's like half dead, eating her hand over there. And blood splatters all over the wall and table because obviously they're not a clean family. And my favorite piece in the whole haunt, just bread. Got a few fun little wall hanging pieces from Goodwill there and there. We got the clock set to 420. Yeah, here's the other one. I think these are like spice racks maybe, but I didn't have spices to put on them. And we kind of ran out of time, so I just had the foot with the cockroaches on them. There's another one down there. It's kind of hard to see. And yeah, you know, the dirty dishes and the cabinets, the face pie, the gloves, the spatula. This was just an extra piece that we had from the meat locker that I wanted to put behind here. But it worked out pretty well. You know, I think it looks very kitchen-like. There's the fog machine up there. We tried to do a better job of hiding that, but we had to use it the other day, so it hasn't been fully covered up yet. Yeah, and then, you know, the meat tenderizer and some blood everywhere, some cockroaches, all that fun stuff. Very classic sort of kitchen setting. It's a lot of fun. This is definitely the room we got the most compliments on. I think both because it looks a lot like a kitchen and because the actress we had in here was just absolutely perfect for this role. Which is kind of funny because like I never talk in the unedited like tour video or whatever, but it kind of warranted it for her because she's so interactive and crazy with all the guests. And you know, her character and mine have like such a complicated relationship and chemistry in the lore or whatever, so we'd always just be standing out front or in here or just yelling at each other and stuff. It was always so much fun. Anyway, with that, we head into the meat locker, which is probably my least favorite room just because it kind of lacks a lot of character or detail. But yeah, you know, the metal light there. We'd head down. This also, as much as I don't love this room, it seemed to be the one that messed with people's minds the most. Like, they really hated being in here. So that's good, I guess. It's kind of hard to tell on video, but it is kind of disorienting and weird compared to everything else because the lighting in every room is like it's like the soft white dim or whatever, and now it's just the harsh white in your face lighting with like flickering fluorescence, and it's very off-putting. It's kind of cool. That being said, it is probably my least favorite room in my favorite haunt we've ever done. So that being said, it is still very cool. Yeah, we got this body here. We got the meat hook. We got the half body here. Not really a lot going on. It is clearly very different at night. Not like way different, but you know, you can definitely tell there's some difference in the lighting because the fluorescents really make this place disorienting. It's pretty cool. One more quick shot from the back. Yeah, I just distressed most of these with stain, perma blood, and spray paints. Make it look real nasty and old. The rain has not been doing us any favors. We keep trying to put these seams down, but the rain keeps kind of making them pop back up. Like over here is one of the least affected areas for whatever reason. And in general, they used to look more like that. They both dented in a little bit, but now they look not as good. Yeah, and then we have the little creak door here to kind of imply that it's a busted in area. I painted this side of it silver to make it look more like industrial meat locker. And then this side of it is very old and wooden and nasty. And that's because, of course, we are now in the hunting lodge. This is one of the few rooms we did not use the brick panels for the ceiling. Instead, we just used the general plywood sheets, which I think matches the aesthetic much better. The camera is having a really hard time picking up the lighting in all of these rooms, and it's kind of annoying. Yeah, this is unfortunately also one of the rooms that has been kind of wrecked by the rain, but it's not too bad. Yeah, but back here anyway, we, as you can see, had some destructive people come through and warp the hell out of these little standees here. But yeah, we got the pig leg there, we got the human arm there, the meat hook, the weird little cloth covering thing. We got this chair, which was super helpful that we just kind of happened to own that already. That was Very lucky on our part, because anything even close to that was ridiculously priced on Marketplace, and we're obviously not buying new furniture for the haunt. So yeah, one of my favorite little pieces we've done for the whole haunt here is just the paint job we've done around this whole room, all just with little cans of stain that we had. I think it makes it look so nasty and rustic and hillbilly, and it's just really the vibe I wanted to go for. Yeah, we got the BB gun on the wall there, the BB gun on the wall over there. We got the fireplace, which would usually spray out smoke. I don't know if the fog machine is hooked up right now. Actually, let me see. It might be. Yes, it is. I guess you'll get to see the smoke. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to leave it on for the whole thing, but yeah, you get the idea. The fireplace will fog up. It'll also spray smoke out. If you can see, we cut the hole right there, and that is the one that goes into the first room. So the actress in here just has the fog remote. She'll spray it to go into the fireplace, into the first room, and because it was three-pronged, I decided it would be funny to also fog up the inside of her locker, which it is, oh, sorry. It is very difficult to see at the moment, but there is fog in there. I hate how the lighting is coming out on the phone, but we have that hooked up to the flicker box as well. We have the feathers on there. We had a few extra feathers, so I tied one to the end of that BB gun. Or actually, I think my build partner did that one. But yeah, either way, just to make it look more like hillbilly or whatever. That's one of the few real animal pieces we have in the haunt. That one is not. Yeah, the meat hook, Dead by Daylight inspired, obviously. And yeah, you know, in here, it's difficult to see at the moment, but we have the gas can, the axe, and the bat. Oh, and one thing I thought was funny is that during the night, this whole thing is only held together by a single screw. The actress in here kept kicking the door open, and I was scared I kept telling her not to, because I was scared to death all night that it would end up falling on somebody, like the door would just break off and fall on somebody and badly injure them. The door did end up falling off. It didn't hurt anybody, obviously, because we're still open, so that wouldn't happen if it did. But it ended up only happening the very last person who came through the night, and I don't know. It was good timing. Glad it didn't hurt anybody, but yeah, I probably should make sure that doesn't happen again. You know, we'll just add a little extra security to it, or make sure she doesn't bust it open or something. Oh, it's all good. And yeah, anyway, before we go, we have the sheepskin over here. Looks all nasty, and the ram skull up there. Obviously painted with stain, and the bone wind chime sort of thing. That was one of the first pieces I made for the haunt this year, actually. It was just the bone wind chime. Thought it'd be really nasty and kind of freaky to have real animal bones somewhere in it, because, you know, this room seemed like the place to have it in for sure. And as we make our way into the Hunting Lodge hallway, also one of my favorite little scenes, as you can see just how drastically different this whole area is at night. It just completely blacks out by the time that light goes out. So, I mean, you already saw most of the details during the day. I'm not going to go over it like crazy, but I just love looking up at the ceiling with the trees coming through. Those are all real trees, by the way. And we have the floodlight up there, which, try to get a better angle on that. Yeah, the phone is not picking up light as well as I would like for it to, but you get it. We attached a floodlight up to an extra little 2x4 up there and had it go through all the slats. And as you can see, the slat all over the ground. It's very cool and very disorienting to be in this room very long. One thing our huntress actress did in the room before here was that she would tell them she was going to be hunting them down, and she'd give them like a 10-second head start and then just count down while like stamping her foot or whatever. It would always freak people out, because usually I would stand waiting for them at the exit just right outside these walls, and I would hear it going on. People were screaming and going crazy in here. It was so fun. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just walk on through. You see all the knives and the street signs. It's pretty typical hillbilly stuff with a no trespassing, until you get into the final room of this outside area, which is, of course, the barn entrance. I love that this room looks so drastically different at night, too. It's so nice. It's also nice that there's no crazy wind tonight, so you can actually see and hear everything without me having to use a nice, like, microphone or whatever. Yeah, anyway, we got all this corn, which is actually starting to get old. We're going to take all that down pretty shortly. You know, the old fence that we just found on the side of the road with the barbed wire on it, and the moss, and the no trespassing sign, which has, you can see, has clearly been aged a bit, make it look all nasty. all nice and used. And then the barn facade with this final light hooked up to, well, not the final one hooked up to it, but one of the last ones of this haunt at least, hooked up to the flicker box. Difficult to see, but we have, you know, the little roof of the barn right there, the leaves and the greenery everywhere. Again, this is just one of my favorite rooms. It feels very Halloween, very classic fall, very farmy, and I don't know. There was something about this room that I just absolutely loved. It was also one of the most fun I think I had making with my build partner this year. So personally, just this room has more sentimental value than most of the other ones do for me. It's a very nice room. Also wanted to mention that this is the first time we've ever done 2 facades within the same haunt. It's gotten to that point where it's big enough we can do that. Obviously, we have the full house facade out there and then the smaller barn facade about halfway through. So, you know, pretty cool stuff. Anyway, I think my phone is going to start running out of storage soon, so I'm going to go ahead and head into the barn. And, you know, we got the rake up there. This whole scene is pretty much the same. You guys have already all seen this. There's not a lot of difference or anything. You know, we have some of the ground painted brown a little bit. The whole, you know, pen area and, you know, this whole area back here. I'm going to wait for that light to come back on to show you guys. Yeah, there we go. You know, the hunting weapon, or not really hunting, I guess farming weapons. Just kind of there. We had the blood splatter on the wall, or the hand splatter, I guess. The shovel, that is a real shovel, by the way. Metal box with a bloody bone shank sort of thing, and the gasoline on a piece that has been in literally every haunt since I got it in, I think, 2018, which is just the Spirit Farms barrel. It's gone through a lot of different paint jobs. So yeah, right now it's just in sort of the dark brown barrel. Kind of classic look, so, you know, it's all good. Just another little separate view of the pen from this area. Like I said, there is a way to get in right through here, which is how our actress would get in. She did a great job. I'm sure you guys already saw that in the unedited video of it. Yeah, but we got a lot of compliments on the barn this year. A lot of people seem to really like it, so that's pretty cool. And obviously going down this hallway here, we have just the sheets and the head and the body here and the slatted hallway that you kind of have to walk down with the pig limb. I love the pig limbs this year. I think those are new for Spirit, and I am in love with them. One thing I've noticed is that our broken, like, shorting out light up here, it's been much more sporadic lately, so I can't tell if it's, like, actually breaking, but it looks real, like, real glitchy and messed up, which is kind of the look I wanted to go for, so it's all good. Yeah, this is definitely one of the scenes that we got the most compliments on, just this guy hanging right here, and people loved that one that you had to walk under too. Personally, I'm more of a fan of this guy, but yeah, definitely cool how the guts look real nasty and just real weird. And again, we had, like, you know, fly swarming sound effects in this area, and it was just all real nasty, real, like, you should not be in this area. Very cool to walk through. And yes, the last room of the inside area, which is, of course, the butcher's little slaughter dungeon area. I'm not going to go over it too much because I think I already kind of did with most of the daytime part of this walkthrough. There's really not a lot of difference to go on here. Oh yeah, there's my chainsaw. Moved it in here. But yeah, anyway, we got all the same basic stuff. You know, the chainsaw over here, the weapons on the wall, the meat hooks, his apron, the sheets filled with perma-blood and perma-gore, his little station for weapons over here. My favorite bit of the whole haunt. Pig legs, human arms hanging, all that good, nasty stuff. And this guy in here, by the way, was also the actor we got the most compliments on the costume for. I think the actor we got the most compliments for in general was the one in the kitchen, but this guy probably had the best costume as far as the general public was concerned, so that's always fun. Big shout out to Pumpkin Pulp for the mask, because that was definitely what made the whole costume so good. And yeah, just this little extra area. Again, mainly the whole reason this little back thing exists was just so he could kind of hide behind this curtain and storm out and charge at people with the chainsaw. But yeah, you know, we just got a little leg just so there was something back here, and the rusted fluorescence and the Beware the Scarecrow painted in some of the little remaining perma-blood I had. And then you walk out the door and the Scarecrow tunnel starts. I'm going to do my best to show you guys most of this without the flash on. It's very dark and it is entirely intentional. But yeah, we got some bones hanging here. It's very difficult to see because there's no flash on. But I feel like it'd kind of defeat the purpose if I did have the flash on. So we're just gonna try to... We are going to try to attempt to go through it without the flash. Anyway, yeah, we got the pumpkin down there with the flicker candle in it, the Waterfall Farms. You cannot see that at all, but there's a sign right there that says Waterfall Farms. You might have to try to brighten your screen for some of this. I don't know. That might help. It might not. Yeah, all the leaves and greenery covering everything. This whole thing, I don't remember if I said so because I shot that other part a while back, but this whole thing was made out of just scraps that we had lying around. So this whole structure was made entirely with just stuff we didn't use, other than a couple 2x4s just to finish off some of the main parts of the structure. But I don't know. It's definitely my favorite outside portion thing we've ever done, because it's so different from anything else we've ever done out here. Usually it's just like a small little thing with a few pallets or crates or something as you're walking out, and maybe one extra little scare with some trash cans. Like, it's usually just a junkyard scene because it's easy to do. We can throw all of our crap there. We can put somebody in a trash can and they can pop out and scare everybody, you know, as they're leaving or whatever. It's much easier to do. But this year we really went all out. We really put together a whole overhead structure thing, and it's very disorienting to walk through at night. And usually we have like cool ominous music playing as like crows and birds are sounding to make it seem more like weird and naturey. It's very freaky, very cool. I'm just turning on the flash to see this stuff back here. This is our little pumpkin patch scene. We got one pumpkin that is lit by a candle. The rest is just kind of greenery and pumpkins growing and all that fun stuff. And there is that pumpkin with no light on. It's much freakier without it. But yeah, anyway, as you head out here, we go into our final scene of the whole haunt, which is, of course, the pumpkin patch. This was definitely one of our fan favorite scenes as well, and I gotta admit is one of mine. We had our amazing team of actors and actresses carve each and every one of these pumpkins. I did maybe one or two. My build partner did maybe one or two. But in general, it was a combined effort of everyone except me. So yeah, we got the little pumpkin patch sign over here, lit up of course by the lantern on top of the scarecrow, or held by the scarecrow. We got one scarecrow back there, and we had one more right over here who would pop out at people. This whole area is so dark, it's just that one lantern and just the pumpkins that light up the whole thing. As you can see, we have a couple of hanging vines. We had another scarecrow head up here, just another little weird structure thing, just to, you know, psych people out a little bit. Beware the scarecrow written on just this thing I found at the side of someone's house one time. We have the Pipkin pumpkin. Again, check out the Halloween tree if you haven't seen it already. It is an absolute classic. I wanted to have a lot of classical pumpkins. Obviously, we made a few funny ones. We did a nice, cool scarecrow one. Most of them have been classic. That was one my build partner did, I'm pretty sure. That was one I did, I'm pretty sure. The classic one, not the vomiting one, although I love the vomiting one. A few more classic ones over here. The little pallet thing. And then the giant beach ball pumpkin that I would stand on top of with the chainsaw to freak people out one last time as they would run off into the night. And I would chase them, usually down one of these sides of the street with the chainsaw until they like were out of sight. I would also typically, when I like stop chasing them, do the little Leatherface dance at the end that he does, you know, with the chainsaw where he swirls it all around, and then I just walk back all defeated. Just all in character. It was a lot of fun. Well, guys, I think that'll about do it for the commentary video. I know I said I was going to try to condense this, and I'm sure it's already at like an hour. I don't know for sure how long it is, but I'm going to guess it is pretty long. Either way, thank you so much for sticking with me all this way. I would be really mad at myself if I ended up not making this, so I specifically had to come back here another whole day, set everything up just so I could do this video, because obviously I wanted you guys to be able to see everything in depth, but I would be really mad at myself because I like to go back and watch these sometimes just to like see how much we've grown, see how much we've changed. It is genuinely very weird if you go back and look at like 2018 our haunt, or even hell 2020, 2021, you can see just how crazy different this is. Like, it's obviously an improvement over last year, but in terms of like since 2018, it's insane. But yeah, I think that's going to about do it for this video. I wanted to go ahead and before I close this off for the season, give one more giant thank you to anyone who came out to support Pantophobia, or even anyone who's just watching the video. You're supporting us, and I genuinely I appreciate it. It means a lot. One giant thank you to anyone who supported and helped us give back to the community. Obviously, this year we're donating to St. Jude. So if you donated any money to us, that is going directly to them, of course. So big thank you to all of you. And one just a massive thank you to anyone in our cast who stuck it out through every single night, even though we had a few nights where it was like storming, raining, snowing even on Halloween. It really sucked. The weather did a few of those nights, and every single one of you came in anyway, put in your all to the character, and made sure Pantophobia X ran efficiently and smoothly, and I love every one of you and couldn't do this without you. So giant thank you to every single one of you who helped out this year. It's genuinely surreal to think that this is going to be the last haunt for a while. We're going to go on hiatus after this, which does suck, unfortunately. But there's just some life stuff that I got to sort out before we can really focus on this again for a while, because it's become such an ordeal that it takes up pretty much my entire August through October, which is great. But, you know, I got to focus on some other stuff. So this is unfortunately going to be the last haunt for a little while. But I really don't think we could have gone out on more of a bang if we tried. Anyway, that's going to about do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting Pantophobia X. Thank you to everyone who reached out to me asking for the haunt video, for anyone who wanted to see it, because it really means a lot to think that there's anyone who cares what we do over here. To anyone who has come out to Pantophobia and helped us scare act, gone through, donated, any person who has made us even remotely the highest rated home haunt in Indiana, which, yes, we finally are, by the way. We have gotten to that point where we are, as far as I know, biggest and highest rated home haunt in the entire state, which is insane to me. I never thought I would be even close to that, but here we are. Anyway, before I go off on another tangent, just thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. I hope you had a great Halloween. Let me know how yours was in the comments. I am genuinely interested to know. Let me see how your haunt went. If you have any, video of anything, I love to see anyone else's own creations, because I've seen some really cool stuff going around in the last year. So let me see what you guys have done on your own. All right, that'll be about it. See you guys later. And from all of us here at Pantophobia, happy Halloween.
It came from outer space, and this is how the message ran.